The movie starts in Conyers, Pennsylvania, where Keller Dover is out in the woods with his teenage son Ralph. Keller is teaching Ralph how to hunt and reminds him of an important lesson his own father taught him: always be prepared. After saying a quick prayer, Ralph successfully shoots a deer, and the two head home. On the drive back, Keller explains his father's philosophy: pray for the best, prepare for the worst.
Be ready.
It's clear that he believes in always being ready for difficult situations. Back at home, we meet the rest of Keller's family: his wife, Grace, and their 6-year-old daughter, Anna. It's Thanksgiving Day, and they're getting ready to celebrate with their neighbors and close friends, Franklin and Nancy Birch.
Happy Thanksgiving!
The Birch family has 2 children, Eliza and Joy. Joy is the same age as Anna, and the 2 girls are best friends. While the adults prepare dinner and spend time together, the children go outside to play. Anna and Joy are joined by their older siblings, Ralph and Eliza. While exploring the neighborhood, they come across an old RV parked nearby. The younger girls are curious about it, but Ralph and Eliza tell them to leave it alone. As the kids walk away, someone inside the RV appears to be watching them. Later, everyone gathers for Thanksgiving dinner. The adults chat and enjoy the meal while the kids play around the house. After dinner, Anna remembers that she left her red emergency whistle at home and wants to go get it.
My red whistle, she's going to help me look for it.
Joy decides to go with her. After a while, the adults notice that Anna and Joy haven't returned. At first, nobody is too worried. They assume the girls are playing somewhere nearby. But as more time passes, concern starts to grow. Keller asks Ralph and Eliza where the girls are. That's when he learns that Anna and Joy never came to get them and went alone. The adults immediately begin searching the neighborhood.
Oh!
They check houses, yards, and nearby streets, calling out the girls' names, but there is no sign of them. During the search, Ralph remembers seeing the strange RV earlier in the day. Thinking it might be connected, Keller, Franklin, and Ralph rush back to where it was parked. However, the RV is gone.
Dad, it was parked right here.
Realizing the situation could be serious, Keller contacts the police. At the same time, we are introduced to Detective Loki, a skilled investigator known for solving every case assigned to him. While eating alone at a diner on Thanksgiving, he receives a report about the missing girls and quickly heads out to investigate. Soon, Loki spots the RV and follows it. Before he can approach, the driver crashes into a wooded area. Loki and several officers move in, search the vehicle, and arrest the driver.
Hey! I see you in there. Show me your hands!
Unfortunately, when they inspect the RV, Anna and Joy are nowhere to be found. The police try questioning the man they arrested, Alex Jones, hoping he can tell them where Anna and Joy are. However, Alex doesn't give any useful answers.
Where'd you put those girls? You put them in the woods?
Realizing how serious the situation is, Detective Loki immediately sends search teams into the nearby woods, but they are unable to find any sign of the girls. Later, Loki questions Alex at the police station. The interview doesn't go very well. Alex seems confused and has trouble answering basic questions. He can't clearly explain where he was when the girls disappeared or why he was driving the RV. His answers are vague, inconsistent, and sometimes childlike.
I went for a drive. I didn't see them. May I sit down?
Although he denies kidnapping the girls, Loki still wants to learn more about him. During the investigation, Loki discovers that Alex usually parks his RV behind the house of his aunt, Holly Jones. He visits her and learns more about Alex's background. Holly explains that Alex lost his parents when he was only 6 years old. According to her, he never fully developed mentally and now has the understanding and behavior of a young child, despite being an adult.
And I died in a car accident when Alex was about 6.
After speaking with Holly, Loki checks in with the forensic team. Unfortunately, they have no good news. They searched the RV carefully but found no evidence connecting Alex to the missing girls. Even so, Loki isn't ready to rule him out completely. He orders investigators to search Holly's property as well, hoping they might find something useful there. Meanwhile, search efforts continue throughout the area. Keller Dover and Franklin Birch join the volunteers and police officers searching the woods, refusing to sit around while their daughters are missing.
Anna!
Despite everyone's efforts, there is still no sign of Anna or Joy. The following day, Loki visits both families to check on them and gather any additional information. At the Birch house, he finds Nancy completely devastated by the situation. When he visits the Dover family, Grace seems to be coping in a different way. She keeps insisting that the girls probably wandered off somewhere and will eventually come back.
Crazy when those two come out of hiding wherever they are.
It's clear that she's struggling to process what's happening. Eventually, the stress becomes too much, and she breaks down in tears.
Sorry.
Loki reassures her that he will do everything he can to find the girls. Soon, Keller arrives home and joins the conversation. Loki introduces himself and updates the family on the investigation. He explains that no evidence has been found so far and that he isn't convinced Alex is responsible. Based on what he has learned, Loki believes Alex may not have the mental ability to plan and carry out the kidnapping of 2 children in broad daylight. Desperate for answers, Keller keeps pressing Loki for updates and possible leads.
How could he drive an RV if he has an IQ of a 10-year-old?
Loki remains calm and promises that he will continue investigating every possibility. Before Loki leaves, Keller asks an important question. Will Alex stay in jail until the girls are found? Loki explains that, under the law, they can only hold Alex for 48 hours unless they find evidence linking him to the crime. Right now, they have suspicions, but nothing they can prove. Hearing this, Keller becomes even more frustrated. Back at the police station, Detective Loki tries one last time to convince his boss to let them keep Alex in custody for another day. He explains that Keller is convinced Alex is involved and is becoming increasingly frustrated. However, the law requires actual evidence, not just suspicion. Since the police still have nothing concrete linking Alex to the missing girls, the request is denied. As the 48-hour holding period comes to an end, Keller grows more desperate while Loki continues following every possible lead. Determined to find something, Loki visits several locations connected to Alex's past movements. One of those leads takes him to the home of a local priest named Patrick Dunn. While searching the house, Loki discovers a hidden door leading to a basement. Down there, he finds a badly decomposed body. Shocked by the discovery, he immediately confronts the priest. At first, Patrick claims he knows nothing about it. Eventually, though, he admits that the dead man had come to him for confession.
He came to me for confession.
According to Patrick, the man confessed to murdering 16 children over the years. Feeling unable to ignore what he had heard, Patrick took matters into his own hands and killed the man himself.
He said he'd killed 16 children.
Loki arrests Patrick and orders a full investigation into the case. Meanwhile, the search for Anna and Joy continues without any success. Volunteers, police officers, and family members keep looking, but there are still no clues about where the girls might be. Then Keller gets a call from Grace. She tells him that the police are releasing Alex because they couldn't find any evidence against him.
So, man, the police said they're letting him go today.
Keller immediately heads to the station. At the police station, Holly arrives to pick Alex up. Even though Loki is clearly unhappy about it, he has no legal reason to keep Alex locked up. Alex walks out as a free man while reporters gather outside. Watching this happen pushes Keller over the edge. He pushes through the crowd and confronts Alex directly.
I want to talk. He's a free man. I'm a free man. Hey! Tell me what you did with him!
During the brief encounter, Alex quietly says something that catches Keller's attention. They didn't cry until I left them.
They didn't cry until I left them.
The comment is vague, but to Keller it sounds like a confession. He immediately believes Alex knows exactly what happened to the girls. Police officers quickly step in and pull Keller away before the situation gets worse. Still, Keller can't stop thinking about what Alex said. In his mind, it confirms all his suspicions. Before leaving, Keller tells Loki about the comment.
They didn't cry until I left them. Right to my f***ing face.
Are you sure that's what he said?
Arrest him!
Later that day, Loki visits Alex and Holly to ask about it. As expected, Alex denies saying anything meaningful and offers no useful explanation.
Anything you could have misinterpreted or...
No.
Back at home, Keller becomes more restless. The investigation seems stuck. The police have no evidence, and Grace is struggling emotionally with the disappearance of their daughter.
Please make her go home.
Seeing his wife break down convinces Keller that waiting is no longer an option. He tells Ralph that he is heading out to help with the search and leaves him in charge of the house.
It's gonna be okay.
However, Keller starts keeping an eye on Holly's house. He parks nearby and watches, hoping to notice something suspicious. After some time, Alex comes outside to walk his dog. When he notices Keller's car in the distance, he tries to almost strangle the dog. He then walks away while singing the same children's song that Anna and Joy used to sing. This immediately catches Keller's attention and makes him even more convinced that Alex knows something about the missing girls. At this point, Keller decides to take matters into his own hands. He kidnaps Alex from the street and takes him to an abandoned apartment building that he owns through his construction business. The building is old, isolated, and rarely visited, making it the perfect place to keep Alex hidden. The next day, Keller brings Franklin to the building and reveals what he has done.
Oh my God, what did you do?
Franklin is shocked to find Alex tied up inside. His first reaction is to tell Keller that this is a terrible idea and that they should call the police. However, Franklin is also desperate to find his daughter Joy. As much as he knows Keller's actions are wrong, he struggles with the thought of walking away if Alex really does know something. Eventually, his concern for Joy outweighs his objections, and he reluctantly agrees to stay involved. Alex is being held in a bathroom inside the abandoned apartment. He is frightened, confused, and keeps asking why this is happening to him. Keller gives him a simple answer. Tell them where the girls are, and everything will stop. Keller starts by asking questions, but when Alex continues denying any involvement, the interrogation becomes more aggressive. Keller is completely convinced that Alex is hiding the truth. Every time Alex says he doesn't know anything, Keller sees it as proof that he's refusing to cooperate. Alex, however, sticks to the same story. He repeatedly says that he didn't take the girls and has no idea where they are. His answers never really change. Franklin helps at first, but as the situation gets worse, he becomes increasingly uncomfortable. He can see that things are getting out of control and begins questioning whether they are making a huge mistake. Meanwhile, Detective Loki continues working the case from a different angle. Instead of focusing entirely on Alex, he keeps investigating other leads, interviewing people and looking for anything that might have been missed. One day, an investigator confirms that Father Patrick's story about the dead man was true. This gives Loki a new direction to explore. He starts reviewing old missing child cases from the area, wondering if there could be a connection between them and the current disappearance. As he interviews families and studies the older cases, Loki notices a pattern. Several of the missing child investigations seem to have one thing in common: reports involving an RV. It has now been 2 days since Anna and Joy disappeared, and Alex still insists he had nothing to do with it. Keller becomes more frustrated and aggressive, believing that if Alex would just tell them where the girls are, everything could be fixed. Later that night, the community holds a candlelight vigil for the missing girls. Many people show up to support the families, but the mood is heavy because hope is starting to fade. The longer the girls stay missing, the worse things look. Detective Loki also attends the vigil. While he is there, he notices a man acting nervously. When the man sees Loki watching him, he quickly runs away. Loki chases him, but the man manages to escape.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
After this, the police release a sketch of the suspect to the public and ask people to report any sightings. Franklin hears about it and tells Keller that this could mean Alex might not be the only suspect. But Keller refuses to change his thinking and believes the suspect and Alex might be connected. Meanwhile, Loki learns from Holly that Alex is no longer at her house, which makes him suspicious. Not knowing that Alex has actually been kidnapped, Loki starts wondering if Alex might be involved after all. He reviews footage of Alex's earlier interrogation, but it doesn't give him any useful new clues. Soon after, Loki receives a tip that someone recognized the man from the vigil. The man had been seen visiting a supermarket regularly and buying random items. As the 5th day comes to an end, Franklin becomes increasingly uncomfortable with everything happening. He starts feeling guilty and worries they may be hurting an innocent person. Keller, however, is still convinced Alex is guilty and refuses to consider other possibilities. Eventually, Keller breaks down at home and tells Nancy everything that has been happening. Shocked and emotional, Nancy insists on seeing Alex for herself. She goes with Keller and Franklin to the abandoned building. When she sees Alex injured and tied up, she is horrified. She begs him to help find her daughter and even shows him Joy's belongings, hoping it will trigger something.
It's my baby.
In the chaos, she frees him, but Alex pushes her away and tries to run. Keller and Franklin arrive in time to stop him. After that, Keller locks Alex in a room with no light, determined to keep him there. Franklin, unable to handle the situation anymore, decides he wants to let Alex go. However, Nancy tells him to think about their daughter, and he hesitates. In the end, Franklin and Nancy decide they won't directly help Keller anymore, but they also don't stop him either. Meanwhile, the suspicious man from the vigil breaks into the Birch house. Eliza is in the bathroom on a phone call and doesn't notice him entering. After doing something inside the house, he leaves and then heads toward the Dover house. At the Dover home, Grace hears noises coming from Anna's room and thinks her daughter might have returned. When she checks, the man quickly jumps out of a window and escapes. The families call Detective Loki and explain what happened. Grace also mentions that Keller has been helping the police, but Loki already suspects something is off about that. Loki begins to follow Keller. The next morning, Keller heads toward the abandoned building but notices he is being followed. Loki stops him and tells him to get in the car. He questions Keller about where he has been for the past few days, since it's clear he hasn't been with the police. Keller doesn't give a clear explanation and Loki remains unconvinced. Still, Loki tells him to take care of Grace and be there for Anna when she returns. Hearing Anna's name upsets Keller, and he breaks down emotionally, saying he has spent 6 days wondering if his daughter is suffering and waiting for him.
So forgive me for not going home! And why did you look for my f***ing daughter?
After this, Keller goes home but is clearly shaken. Later, he returns to the abandoned building and continues confronting Alex. Alex, overwhelmed and exhausted, insists again that he is not the person they are looking for and that he only wanted to play and didn't mean any harm. Keller, unsure of what to believe, breaks down and prays for guidance. At that moment, an alarm he installed goes off. He looks outside and sees Loki arriving at the building. Realizing the situation is getting risky, Keller tells Alex to stay silent.
You make any noise, I'm gonna turn on that tap.
And goes downstairs. When Loki arrives, Keller pretends he was just there casually and says he came to drink and that the building belonged to his father. He even offers to show Loki around. During this time, Loki gets a call from the cashier he had spoken to earlier. She tells him the man he is looking for was just at the store again.
The guy that you were looking for was just here.
This finally gives Loki a solid lead, and he tracks the man down. The suspect is identified as Bob Taylor. Loki goes to Bob's house, where Bob initially denies everything and acts confused. However, his behavior quickly falls apart when he tries to run. Loki catches him and arrests him, then calls for backup to search the house. Inside Bob's home, Loki finds disturbing items, including rotten food, locked boxes, and inside them, bloody children's clothing and snakes. In another box, he finds a journal with the message, "If you finish all the mazes, you can go home." Bob is taken into custody, and Loki updates the families. He tells Keller that, although no bodies have been found, Franklin and Nancy have identified some of the clothing as Joy's. Among the items, Keller also recognizes Anna's sock. This hits him hard, and he breaks down emotionally, blaming Loki for not focusing on Bob earlier, and believing things could have been prevented.
You let this happen.
Afterward, Keller returns home, where he finds Grace asleep and Ralph sitting quietly in Anna's room. Ralph asks Keller if Anna is dead, especially since Eliza seems to believe she might not be alive. Keller insists that Anna is still alive and tells Ralph not to say anything like that to Grace. He also tells him not to lose hope. Ralph gets frustrated and says Keller hasn't really been doing anything useful, just drinking and leaving everyone else stressed at home. Keller reacts angrily and tells him to shut up before walking away.
Shut up!
Meanwhile, Bob is in police custody and keeps drawing maze-like sketches over and over. Officers think the drawings might be some kind of map leading to where the missing girls are. Loki, however, feels there is something more symbolic going on. Loki questions Bob directly about the drawings, but Bob doesn't give any clear answers. He just cries and keeps drawing. Frustrated, Loki loses control and starts hitting him. But other officers pull him away. In the chaos, Bob manages to grab a gun from an officer and shoots himself.
Oh, fucking all right.
Elsewhere, Keller gets drunk and speaks to Alex, saying he doesn't know what to do anymore. At that moment, Alex finally gives a small clue and says the girls are in the maze, but he doesn't explain where the maze is located. Desperate for answers, Keller goes to Holly's house. He doesn't tell her he has Alex and instead says he feels responsible for Alex disappearing.
What I'm trying to say is I kind of feel responsible for him.
While talking over tea, Holly shares that she and her husband had a difficult past after losing their son to cancer, and that adopting Alex helped them cope. Keller tries to ask about the maze, but Holly doesn't react in any meaningful way. She avoids the topic and keeps her answers calm and vague. At the same time, Loki studies Bob's drawings more closely. He compares them with earlier evidence from Patrick's case and notices something important. The symbol on a necklace found with the dead body matches Bob's maze drawings. Loki also discovers that the blood on items found in Bob's house was actually from animals, not humans. This leads him to realize that Bob himself was once a victim of kidnapping as a child. He had been psychologically damaged and likely grew up obsessed with missing children cases. This suggests there may be a wider group involved, not just one person. While Loki continues investigating, Grace receives news that Joy has been found alive, but Anna is still missing.
They found Joy, but not Anna. They didn't find Anna.
Keller and Grace rush to the hospital to see Joy. Joy is unconscious at first, and Keller tries to ask questions, but the doctor stops him. When Joy finally wakes up, she remembers bits of what happened and says, "You were there," looking at Keller.
You were there.
This triggers a strong reaction in him, and he immediately leaves the hospital. Loki, thinking Keller might be heading back to the old building, goes there, but instead finds Alex. Meanwhile, Keller arrives at Holly's house. Holly, now acting suspicious, pulls out a gun and forces Keller to handcuff himself.
Put your hands on your head and turn around.
She then gives him a drink and takes him deeper inside the house. There, she reveals the truth. Holly explains that she and her husband have been kidnapping children for years. They believed they were acting out of revenge for the loss of their son, using the kidnappings to hurt other families and destroy their faith and hope in God, making them suffer the way she suffered. She says Alex was one of the first children they kidnapped. Over time, they mentally broke him down so much that he lost his ability to think properly. They kept him around and used him to help them lure other children. Bob Taylor was also one of their victims. She also reveals that the dead man Loki found in Patrick's basement was actually her husband. After he disappeared, she continued the kidnappings on her own. She then shows Keller the entrance to an underground area in her backyard, where she has been holding children for a long time. When Keller refuses to go in, she shoots him in the leg and forces him inside. When Loki arrives at Holly's house to update her about Alex being found, he begins to notice something is wrong. Inside the underground maze, Keller discovers a disturbing area filled with children's belongings and evidence of multiple past victims. He also finds Anna's red whistle. Holly sees Loki approaching and goes upstairs to check on Anna, who is unconscious. Loki enters the house shortly after and finds a photo of Holly's husband on the counter, wearing the same maze necklace connected to earlier clues. This confirms to him that Holly is deeply involved. Loki searches the house and finds Holly injecting something into Anna. A shootout happens between them, and Holly is killed while Loki is injured.
Show me your hands right now. Do not move and show me your hands. Both hands, right now! Right now!
He then discovers that Anna is still alive and quickly takes her to the hospital.
Oh, shit. Stay with me, Anna. Anna, stay with me, huh? Move. Don't die.
They arrive in time, and she survives. The next morning, Loki reads the news that Alex, whose real name is Barry Miller, has been reunited with his family after being missing for 26 years. At the same time, Keller is still missing. Later, the girls visit Loki to thank him for saving them. Grace, Keller's wife, says she still hasn't heard from him and is worried about what will happen to him legally.
I miss him. He's a good man.
The film ends with Loki leading the search of Holly's property as investigators uncover the full extent of her crimes. While preparing to leave, he hears a faint whistle in the distance. He stops and listens, unsure whether it's real or just his imagination. And the story ends without revealing Keller's fate.